Okay, so my name is Ben Saunders. I am a partner at a digital marketing company here in Hanover, New Hampshire. Today, we're just going to get into a little bit of the intro to digital marketing, as well as some questions you guys might have, and a couple little fun things just to keep things light in here because we've all sat through so many Zoom meetings at this point. A little bit about Shire. So we're out of Hanover. Our agency focuses on everything marketing. It doesn't have to be just digital. So we do brand building, digital marketing strategies, and then we work hard to understand your sales process as well. So, a big part of what we do is to make sure that your marketing aligns with your goals of your sales department. So from website design and development, SEO, graphic design, content creation, inbound marketing, PPC, which is paid media. So that's through social or Google Ads, social media strategy, and then video and photography. All of that can be print as well. I mean, print at this point really starts digital anyways. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, but I'll probably answer most of them at the end, but I know it's hard to remember everything. So if you feel like you got something you want to say, don't be shy, put it right in the chat there. So today's topics, what website platform is right for me, best practices or optimization, and then SEO. And this slide is just kind of a representation of a lot of the conversations I have with people where there's a million platforms and it's just really confusing as to what you need for your business. These logos represent just probably a handful of what you might encounter if you go to either redo your website, start a new website, or if you're interested in a CRM. These are just a few of the big names that you might see. So just some stats to get us started. As of 2020, there are 3.5 billion searches on Google a day. 30% of people won't consider a business without a website. Upwards of 90% of people go online to find a business or begin researching products with a search engine like Google. And 63% of consumers primarily use their company's website to find and engage with businesses. So even if you're not embracing online, people are generally, your first touch with your consumer, your client, your prospect is going to be online. Whether you choose that to embrace that or not, that's definitely how it's all happening at this point. And I'll get a little bit more into that, but even things like Google My Business, if you haven't set that up, which I'll talk about, it's going to be set up for you. So there's things that happen even if you think, well, I don't have a website. You still do probably exist online. And for this presentation, I know everyone has a different background, and I know everyone's embracing sort of the web and digital in different ways. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit on the intro side, a little bit on the lighter side, and not get too in the weeds. But that being said, I also wanted to give you enough background to terms and words and things you might hear that you feel like at least you have a general understanding of what people are talking about. So a couple of other things are reviews and recommendations are drastically important in your service or products online. And it's estimated by 2040, almost all of purchases will go through e-com. So as much as depressing as that might sound for retail and businesses, that I don't think that means that retail businesses go away. It's just that even those smaller retail stores will be embracing e-commerce on things like Shopify. So website platforms, everyone from bloggers to restaurant owners, everybody has a website or can have a website easily now. You don't need to code. You don't need heavy understanding. If you can make a Facebook page, you can probably get a website up. So the key really is understanding what you need for your business and how each platform would align with what you're trying to accomplish. So there's three foundational pieces to a website. There's your domain, which is essentially your URL, you know, the name that you buy from someone like a GoDaddy. So, you know, www.shiredigital.com is my domain. And you purchase that through domain companies that are like HostGator, GoDaddy, and that, you know, is, if you haven't done that yet, that's obviously your first step, because you want to make sure you own your business name or something similar to that. A host is who actually hosts your website when you decide to, you know, have a website. So it could be someone like a GoDaddy, a WordPress engine, Google Cloud. Those hosts are usually, you pay annually. They have different services, but when someone says like my website is down, usually that has something to do with your host. And it's not necessarily anything to do with the website itself. So the third part is your CMS, or the platform that you're using. For this presentation, I'm going to focus on three that all are like different, quite different, but they offer a lot of the same things. But I just wanted to kind of hit on three big ones that, so everyone here might have an idea of what might work for them. So a content management system is basically what it's called. And WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace are the three we're going to touch on today. WordPress is the biggest CMS in the world. Shopify is getting to be the biggest for e-commerce, and Squarespace is like a do-it-yourself type of website where it's very like drag and drop and easy to use. And it's been very popular as of late because it's very simple for an average novice user to use. So I'm not going to read or get into this slide too much, but this, in general, this is how your website is set up. I circled the three items that we just talked about. So you have your domain, your web host, and your CMS. In there, you usually tie in your email client. So like G Suite, or, you know, Gmail, Google, whatever, Hotmail, Yahoo. So in general, you want your email to come from your URL. So, you know, Ben at Shire Digital, not, you don't want to be emailing from Ben at Gmail. So this is when you generally sign up for your host, you tie that in with your email platform, and that way your email is reflective of your business name. So which one platform's right for you? Really, it comes down to what your goals are. And if you're going to be using, you know, an agency, or you have someone on staff that is very trained in, you know, a little bit of IT. If you are a complete novice and totally no idea where to start, you know, something like a Squarespace would be great. If you need e-commerce, a Shopify. And if you're looking for like heavy customization, lots of different themes, lots of different plugins. So, you know, things like checkouts, filters, newsletter signups, all that different stuff. WordPress is great. I'll say WordPress in general seems to be, you know, you need to have a little bit more knowledge to get in the back end, but again, it's built for everyone. All of these are, and Shopify is quite easy as well, but Squarespace is definitely the easiest. So it depends on your business model. So whether you're trying a B2B company looking for leads and prospects, you're selling a product on an e-commerce platform such as Shopify or WooCommerce or BigCommerce, or are you just trying to build your brand, get your name out there, have a page that just says, I'm here, here's something about me. And that's where Squarespace can be great too. So lead generation, I'm just going to focus on WordPress. All these platforms can work for all these strategies, but just to keep things simple. So WordPress, it's an open source content management system. So anyone can also code in WordPress, so you can customize very easily. It's a popular tool for anyone that loves blogging. That's really how it started, as a blogging management piece of software. It says the software doesn't cost anything. and you can install it, but you will end up paying like hosting fees and some annual fees. The thing about WordPress is the software is installed on your computer and you get a host like we talked about, whereas Shopify and Squarespace will host for you through their own platforms. So that's a little bit of a difference between the three. WordPress definitely gives you a lot more options as you grow. If you plan on, really embracing digital, you want a lot of pages, you want a lot of customized work, then WordPress is where you want to be. It's secure and it's pretty easy to get started. When you get into the customization is where things can get a little bit harder. Again, it's the most popular website builder in the world. So this is a back end of a WordPress site. You can see that it's pretty simple. On the left-hand side, you have your posts, your pages, plugins, all this. I'm not going to get too into. I'm happy to talk to anyone or answer questions. And someone just asked about secure. So secure basically means Google now ranks sites higher and basically wants you to have an SSL certificate, it's called. So when you look at the URL of your website and it says HTTP, it needs to have an S at the end of it. And if it doesn't, if it just says HTTP and then it goes www.yourname, that means you do not have a security certificate. SSL certificates are just a level of security that is provided against fraud, especially if you're taking any sort of payments online. It's almost mandatory that you have an SSL certificate at this point. They're easy to get. You can install them, and then it will. You put it in with your host, and then your site is more secure. So this is the WordPress backend. You can see they talk about widgets here. They talk about plugins here, blog posts here. So these are all things that once you do decide to embrace digital, there is a lot of different parts and things you can add to your websites, but don't get overwhelmed by all this. I mean, this is what I do every day. You don't have to be in here cranking away, but it is good to know if you are going to embrace digital, you do need to learn your back end, at least how it works, how to update your site. If your phone number changes or address, you need to be able to do that stuff on your own. So Shopify, Shopify is pretty easy to use. It's a really growing platform with e-com because it ties in amazingly well with social. So you can directly make ads and sell right from your platform onto Instagram, onto Facebook, and pull in a lot of statistics from those platforms into Shopify. So you can take audiences of people that are on your website and make that audience on Facebook or create a lookalike audience and then target them with ads. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard these sort of things that, tracking people and targeting them with ads and all that. And it's all true and very easy to do. There's no real magic behind it. It's you install tracking code from Google Analytics and you install pixels from Facebook, and they track people all along the website. As long as your browser is open and you're surfing the web, you are being tracked, as well as your phone. If you're using an iPhone, as long as you're, have your web browser open on that phone. Like most people don't close their web browser when they're done. So I'm sure a lot of you just, minimize it or go to a new tab. Well, the whole time Facebook and Google are tracking all of that, and Shopify plays right into that and uses that data so you can target them with e-commerce. So the Shopify platform also has a point of sale that you can use in a retail location that some people like. Shopify also has a lot of, so it's apps instead of plugins and widgets, they use apps. So they have a ton of apps to tie into everything under the sun that you might want to embrace. So some people have, we use HubSpot here as a CRM. That's how we manage our clients. And it has a tie-in with HubSpot or different payment systems. It can handle everything from PayPal to Google Pay to credit cards. Shopify does it all in one place, and it's very easy to use. Whereas with WordPress, you have to have an e-commerce solution if you want to sell on WordPress. So you'd have to use something like WooCommerce. And I don't want to get too confusing here, but the point is Shopify makes it amazingly easy to sell items online. This is the back end of Shopify. You can see it's sort of similar to WordPress. You have your navigation over here. You get 7 orders. Here's your products, your customers, your analytics. This gives you your sessions for the day, how many people have been looking at your website, customers who haven't made a purchase. So you can target with people with emails, people who haven't purchased for a while. It gives you all of your sales sort of breakdowns over on the right-hand side. And it then tells you how you have some orders to fulfill right here, but it's basically looks similar to WordPress. Squarespace, real easy to use. Like I said, it's I said this earlier too, it's a hosted solution, so you don't have to have it installed in your computer. It's just you log in through like a Google Chrome web browser. It's very, very like graphic heavy. So it's very inspirational and big graphics and text. And I would not recommend it for a website where you want to portray a lot of information and you want to be sort of a resource of expertise. But I would recommend it for anyone that's looking to just have something on the web. So this is just the back end of Squarespace. This is Whaleback, which is one of our clients. And I just wanted to show you kind of how easy this looks. So in Squarespace, you actually get to look right at your website, and you can just go in here and hit edit, and then like you move things around, and it's like drag and drop. It's so simple. And that's the beauty of it. So the reason why it's great for people is like it's easy to get up and running. However, on the flip side, it's a little limiting in its design capabilities because it's really just a one-shot deal and not a lot of custom choices. Once you get in there, you're just kind of using the themes that you choose. And all of these platforms have themes that you get to decide what works best for you. You can change themes, that's theme being how your site looks. So, this has a hero image and then 3 buttons underneath it with their mountain whaleback updates on the top. So you can choose different themes where that will be switched all around. And this hero image, we call it, will be like a square on the left and you'll have text on the right. There's all sorts of theme options with all these platforms. So once you decide on a platform, it can take a while to pick a theme because there's just so many. Hopefully you can all hear this, but this is a quick video from Squarespace. So I'm not just droning on this whole time, and it'll just give you a little bit more information on that platform. Whoops.
The most common reaction to a birch arrangement is, I didn't know flowers could look like this. I'm Brittany Ash. I'm a floral artist and the founder and director of Birch. I use Squarespace as a tool to express what my business is to those who don't get to experience it in person. Squarespace, in a lot of ways, made me an actual business. I think it's the first thing that people look at. Without that platform, it doesn't really seem that legitimate.
So you get the feeling there, like they're going for the visuals, the big look. It's light on information, but it is a great platform. So those are the 3 platforms I wanted to touch on. Hopefully, I'm going through them very lightly, but the point being that WordPress, Shopify, and Squarespace all fit a different business model. And it's good to know what your goals are as a business before you decide on a platform or move to a new platform. A lot of what we do at Shire Digital is we either redo or move people to new platforms from old websites. A lot of people, especially now with the changes in the economy, are, hey, I have a website, but I needed to do a lot more. I need it to look a lot different. And that's a good time to consider other platforms, is when your goals may have changed. Like maybe you're ready to embrace e-commerce and you want to move to Shopify, or maybe you need a specific custom widget that is real important to your business. And that's where WordPress would be important. So website optimization, this is kind of where you get into, is your website giving you the types of, or is your website giving your users the best experience possible? And Google will rank you based on a lot of these statistics. So website optimization, 40% of people will leave your page if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. 85% won't browse if it's not secure, and 50% is done on mobile. So another thing we run into a lot is people's websites not optimized for mobile. That's a huge thing for Google now. They rank your sites now on mobile first. So I tell everyone, always look at your websites on your phone and look at how they look, feel, how the forms work, because if any of that is not performing how it should, you will be pushed down in the rankings just for that reason. So what makes a great website? You must have a clear goal. It has to have some technical setup all done. It must be trustworthy, like we said, with the certificate. It must have compelling user experience and user interface. So that's design and then how the website actually works. It has to have awesome content, and it's got to be mobile friendly. So again, Google does not know who you are based on pictures or videos. It's going to read the technical side, and it's going to read your content or copy. So the process that you kind of want to think about, and this is even if you already have a website, you should be asking a lot of these questions. What's the goal of your website? Who's your audience, and what do you expect them to do on your website? What's your type of website? So is it e-com? Is it information? What content are you looking to publish, and what's the purpose of that? So you're not just pushing out totally irrelevant content. And then look at your site from a big picture. Someone gets on your site, I have another slide on this, but it's 3 clicks to get them to take an action to the goal you want. If it's more than 3, you have an issue. And then what's your budget when you get into the development process? So here are a few questions to ask when planning your site. What are your pages you want? What content is going to be in those pages? How do you organize them into categories? A lot of times people just have 400 pages, but no idea how they can group together, which is another thing Google does not like. The hierarchy of your pages, how they link together, and what pages and categories are essential to your user experience, and which ones could be removed or combined. So we work a lot with clients on being like, hey, this page gets no traffic, no volume. Like, what is it doing? Can we add it to somewhere else? And, streamline what people are looking for. So navigation, you have a couple options. There's always the header navigation. Some people do, this even has another filter on the top. And then maybe some people have a side navigation, or these probably when you hover over them will drop down. So there'll be sub navs underneath it. A hamburger navigation for mobile is those 3 lines you see in the top right of a lot of screens nowadays or on your phone, which hides the navigation in a small area for mobile so that it doesn't take up a ton of your screen. And then you have your menu in the footer, which is another very important part of your navigation. And there's the 3-click rule over here. So here's just a look at a basic navigation structure. You have your top level. This might be for someone who's trying to sell a service. So about your products, your pricing, your blog. Your next level might be your different packages, your mission and values, and your team. And your bottom level would be management, contact us, and then your 3 types of pricing. but it's good to always draw out these sitemaps before you go into any process and have a really good idea of what you want your website to look like, rather than build it and then realize that something isn't structured the way you want, because a lot of work goes into this based off of these sitemaps. So calls to action, these are what you want people to do on your website. They're constantly overlooked by people making websites, you know, or business owners that just say, yeah, contact us. Like, that's good. Like, that's all I need. You really need to think about where they are on the page, what you want people to do, what you expect from them. And you need to think of something outside the lines of just contact us over and over again. So here's a few examples of different types of contact us. So, you know, they have a sign in up top where Netflix, if you're not a customer, that'll bring you to a create account page. They have join for a free month. So 2 easy, clear, concise call to actions. And you can see this is their landing page. Look how clean this is. Like they know they want you to do 2 specific things, and that's it. They're not putting 1,000 different links in here, trying to write copy everywhere. And this is one of the biggest companies, growing companies in the US right now. Here's a couple other examples. So this one has a subscribe where you just quickly enter your email. Grey Goose Vodka, they have a discover a cocktail tailored to your taste. They obviously don't sell online, so they're trying to get you to take a different type of action. BarkBox, they have get started or give a gift. Get started is because they are a subscription service. So that's a great way to get people to say, yeah, I want to start doing this. Or Uber, you could start riding with Uber. They have a bunch over here. They have sign up to drive here, become a driver here, and then start riding with Uber here. Again, Uber, huge company. Look at how clean this navigation is. So 8 modern website design trends, if you will. Unique and large typography, which you kind of just saw. I showed you a couple examples, but you know, you have that 3 seconds to grab people's attention. Huge hero images with great creative sort of background. If you don't have amazing images, you can buy them. There's free ones online. There's stock photography. Do not go with stock photography, whatever you do, please. Like, just find some room in your budget to get real photos. I mean, either get a local photographer to just take some images, or pay to buy a couple images online. We had a client that's a law office in the Upper Valley find someone, and they sold her a couple beautiful images of drone images of Vermont, New Hampshire for $250 a piece that she's using on her website. So just to give you an idea. Background videos are great. You see a lot of that now. When you land on a website, the video will run in the background. You just want to make sure that the video makes sense without sound, as well as if you're using sound. So just remember, a lot of people have their browsers muted. So if you put website videos on and they rely completely on sound and have no captions, you're not helping yourself. And then semi-flat design is pretty much everywhere now. No one uses that sort of 3-dimensional box that was old school, but if you are, you definitely want to get away from that. Hamburger menus we talked about. So this is kind of how your navigation would look, but this is how it is much better on mobile, or even if you go to Shire Digital's website, this is what we use on desktop as well. So people click that, and then it expands your menu, and it keeps your sort of navigation clean. So when people land, they just focus on those call to actions. Product images, again, along with the imagery you want on your website, take good product images. I mean, even Shopify, the new iPhones can take great images, but you need to set them up all on a consistent background, like a white sheet, and from the same distance, and make sure that they're really focused. No one will buy anything that you have with really inconsistent and junky product images. Card design is basically using graphics or icons or images and little cards that people can click on, rather than just writing a lot of text out. And then again, back to product or feature videos. Video is where it's at. It's really hard to embrace video, especially for small businesses, but no one wants to read anything anymore. So video is definitely only going to grow as we move forward. Moving on to SEO. Search engine optimization is basically how you rank in Google. We call it the search engine result pages. And this is what basically decides, who gets clicked on. Getting onto page 1 of what you want to rank for is almost impossible nowadays, especially because page 1 is turned into about 60 to 70% Google ads. So if you go and Google digital marketing, you will see that there'll be a digital marketing companies in the organic results, but probably 4 to 6 of the links before you get to organic will be ads from Google. And that's only increasing. So how does Google know how to rank a page? They have a couple, their algorithm works on a bunch of different metrics, but they want to take whatever the user typed in and find the page that best answers that question. So you need to think about when you're writing your content and making your page, are you answering the question people are searching for, or are you just writing about your company? Because that's two very different things. A lot of my clients will come to me and say, I have all this great content, and it's just droning on about how they do things, how great they are, or their history. And it's like, okay, well, Google's trying to answer questions, and this content doesn't answer any questions here. So Google also assumes that the more popular a website is, the more valuable this content is to readers. We'll get into that with linking, but that's kind of like why a Wikipedia is such a popular page, because everyone goes to it for information. So 3 core components of SEO strategy. I got my SpongeBob SquarePants here because everyone thinks there's some magic thing that'll happen to get you on the first page. I can't tell you how many conversations I have where they're like, what if we just pay you and you can help us get on the first page? And it's like, no, that doesn't work. If there was a switch behind WordPress, Shopify that I could flip and say, put me on the first page, I would click it every time, and so would everyone else. It is a long-term strategy. There's nothing you can do to get on that first page tomorrow. So there's the technical side, there's your content, and there's links. Those are the 3 things that will make you rank higher in Google, as well as show up where you want to be for specific searches. Technical setup, I'm not going to get too into this. Website navigation and links, simple URL structures, so up where you search, your page speed, dead links or broken redirects. That happens a lot when people don't pay attention to their websites. Sitemap and robot text files. This is stuff probably most of you don't want to get involved with, but this matters. So that's why I'm putting it here. And duplicate content if you produce pages that are the same. Again, over here, SEO is a long-term strategy. However, SEO drives 1,000% more traffic than organic social media. So if you're spending all your time posting to Facebook and not doing anything on SEO, you're not helping yourself out. So people think Facebook is a great place to get their business some, exposure, which is true. But at this point, if you're not paying to push out to a new audience in Facebook, you're kind of just in a little echo chamber and it's not giving you much. You're just talking to the same people. This is why SEO is so important, because you reach out to people searching for things. So content is king. So websites without a content strategy will always struggle to rank. And I said a great place to start a blog is a blog because Google reads it. Don't beat yourself up with no one reads my blog, because Google reads your blog. And you can't make 4,000 pages on your website, right? You can't jam your navigation up with page after page after page. But every week or even once a month, you can write a blog, include keywords, and Google starts to get a feel for who you are and what you do. And don't get hung up on blog as an old term. I mean, you could call it news. Every client I work with, we name the blog. So we don't just call it the blog. It has like a, the garage, or puzzle time is another one. So just know that it's a place where you can have a lot of content and not jam up your site. So content, be consistent. So once you decide to blog or do a news thing, just don't stop. Even if you just write 2 paragraphs a week, I mean, just sit down and do it. Focus on your keywords. So think about what people might be looking for or searching for, and make sure those are in your posts. A really easy way to look for your keywords on your website or in your blogs is hit Control F and type in the service or product that you want to rank for. And if that word is not on that page at least 2 or 3 times, then you need to fix it. So if I, sell screwdrivers and I go to my different types of screwdrivers page and I hit Control F, and the only time I say the word screwdriver is once in the very top of the page, that's not enough. I need some long tail words. So I need Phillips head screwdriver on there. I need flathead screwdriver on there. I need, I can't think of anything else right now, obviously, but there's all sorts of different long tail keywords, they call it, around your focus. So Control F, easy thing to go and do to see how your keywords are on your pages. You'll be surprised. The other thing to think about when you use that is Control F and look for your business name. How many times on your pages have you written your own business? Once? Because that's not enough. So think about that as well. When you go to every page you have, your business should be listed on that page at least 2 or 3 times. So the last thing is create content around where your expertise is and where your customers' problems or questions are. You don't need to write a blog post that just says, hey, this is how, the types of things we did last year. I mean, it's great for a news section, but the blogs and all that is supposed to show your expertise and helping your. So links, that's the last sort of focus of SEO. Links are who links to your website, because Google will give you a score called the domain authority, which says, I think this is a very trustworthy website because lots of people link to it. So when you think of types of sites that you might link to, this includes in Gmail, because Google is Gmail. So they read that, who's putting that in there. So here's the top 5 websites with the most backlinks. Number 1, Google Maps. Not surprising. People put Google Maps on every website that they own, right? Because you want to know where you're located. People email links to Google Maps all the time. People text Google Map links to people all the time. Second is Twitter, Facebook, Wikipedia, and then Google itself. So that means those top 5 sites, Google will say those are the best 5 sites because everyone links to them, so they must be trustworthy. So without getting too far into linking, an easy way to think of this is, we'll go into this a second. Easy way to think of this is just like, are you part of the Better Business Bureau? Are you part of the New Hampshire Plumbers Association? And if so, do they put logos on their sites? Yes? Okay, give them your logo, get linked to your page. There's some very low-hanging fruit to get a couple links to your page. This is a little bit more detailed, but this is SEO checkers. So at Shire Digital, we use SEMrush. I just wanted to give you kind of a background on how we monitor things. And these are all tools you can use if you want. Google has its own free website checker. You can add it to Chrome and you can use it. It's simple to use. It'll tell you if you have a broken link. It'll tell you, if you have a redirect, so a page that isn't working. And then SEMrush is a little more heavy. If you have someone that's interested in more website stuff, they might want to use something like this. But you can see I use Shire Digital, our authority score, organic search traffic, backlinks. It's all listed. Okay. It gives you some traffic amounts. It tells you your site health is an 81. Here's your number of pages they crawled. So there's 96 pages on this site, 59 errors, 699 warnings, 879 notices. A lot of that is a little bit not as worrisome as they make it out to be, but I'm just giving you a little bit of background on how we look at search engine optimization. So local SEO is more important than ever. This is going to be important to everyone, I'm guessing, on this call, because you want to rank probably more for local traffic than anything else. So continually, I just say start out by Google your business name and look at what you find. There could be potential other businesses with the same name causing confusion. You could have a Google My Business profile that is not lined up with your correct phone number. You could have a competitor that's using your slogan to drive traffic. There's all sorts of things. So at least month, you should Google your business name and just make sure that everything is returning. It looks the way you want it to look. And if not, then fix it. So local search results appear for searches with local intent. So near me, hardware stores in my town. And Google knows this. They read your IP address. They know where you're located. So they are going to serve you the results that match that. So specific locations, specific information. Again, mobile. So this is Shire Digital. When I Google Shire Digital, you can see here's my Google My Business listing over here. I added these products with these images. We have reviews. I wish I had more, but it's hard to get reviews. Again, that's something else that is super important. And then you have hours, phone numbers, address, images up here, which people click on a lot. This is a free service. I'll get into it in a second. Here's our here's our search engine result page. You can see that we built out the links below. This is a part of the technical SEO that you do in the background. And then I wanted to point out that Facebook right here is the third link down. So that's why you have a Facebook business page, because it matters in results. And I'll go into Facebook, but do not ignore Facebook. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's a free way to get on a results page. So this is Google Maps, how you appear in Google Maps. Again, this is a function of Google My Business. Digital marketing near me. Here's Shire Digital, third result down. And it puts the little the wayfinders like right in where you're located. So that's another part of Google My Business is in Google Maps. Now you are listed, and this matters a lot for retail locations. So I'm just giving you that when I put in near me, it knew where I was. Google My Business is a free tool. It's your business name, locations, hours. You can reply to customer reviews. You can add photos. This is what it looks like when you go to the page. You click Manage Now. It's a painless process. You have to be certified. The way they certify you is they send you a postcard to your business location, and you type the code in when you get it, and it verifies your account. Do not try to trick Google. Do not try to send it to a PO box. Do not try to send it to your house. It doesn't work. It causes problems. You'll pay for it later on. This is the back end of Google My Business. Super simple. You type in your information. Here's the left-hand navigation, messages, photos, products. If you can create a Facebook page, this is easier than that. Quick video from Google My Business here. Okay, so pretty straightforward. But again, if you don't have a website, just make a Facebook business page, optimize your Google My Business profile. You exist on the internet and your information is correct. Those two things, both free, both easy to do. Oops. So Facebook business page, I think we skipped, no. So this is Shire Digital's, ooh, a little blurry. When you create a business page, you get a left-hand navigation, similar to all these other platforms. You just want to make sure that, you know, you enter everything about your business, because this shows up in Google search as well. So address, phone numbers, contact us. Another great tool about Facebook business is people can contact you through that. You need to meet customers where they are. If they're on Facebook, you need to be there. So it's easy to chat through Messenger with customers, give them the help they need. A lot of people do not want to call on the phone anymore. And that's actually increasing, that people want to engage with chats and email. Facebook for business. I talk with a lot of clients that don't want to do Facebook. They don't like Facebook. Well, unfortunately, it's still the biggest platform by far, and it's now Instagram as well. There are 2.6 billion monthly users, 2/3 of US adults, and 126.3 million phone users in the US. So this is where you can engage, listen to your audience, develop a contest or a giveaway, promote your events, or run ads. Tips for your Facebook business page. Create a business page, not a personal profile. So you have to have a personal profile to create a business page, unfortunately. So Facebook makes someone own the page. You want a great cover photo. Generally, I say use one that you use on your website so it's consistent. Put in a profile picture, which can be your logo. Optimize your about section. Earn the very responsive to messages badge. So just reply to people within 24 hours. Then you can add the Facebook social media button to your websites. You can create different tabs for your business on the business pages. Post at good times. Generally, I say it's better to be posting on, if you're a business, on weekday mornings, evenings, and weekends. People are not paying as much attention. And then post and then promote your best content. So if you have something really engaging to say, spend $10 and boost it out to a new audience so someone else is reading it besides the same 150 people that have been following you for 2 years. So I wanted to leave a little time to talk, and I was late. That's my mistake. Got like 2 minutes here, but that kind of concludes my run through of website optimization, some platforms, and then some search engine optimization as well. I know a lot of this can be overwhelming / maybe boring, but if anything, this is getting more important to everyone, no matter what your business. So if you sell a widget or you want someone to fill out a contact us form for a service, everyone is using their phone to first find the sort of business that they want. So if you're not checking things on your phone to see how a customer might find you, that is a loss for your business. I am definitely someone asked about this presentation. I will share it with everyone that was on the call. I might actually go back and add some links to some of these pages so you can easily click and find different platforms. I'm also available anytime. You can email me at ben@shiredigital.com for questions. I'm happy to talk. You know, if you have a platform you want me to look at and give you my feedback, I'm happy to do that as well. You can use, sorry, people are saying my email. You can use ben.saunders@shiredigital.com or Ben, either one. That's a Google tool you can use. If anyone's wondering, you can set your name up with a nickname as well. So does anyone have any questions specific to what we just talked about? You can type it in the chat, or you could take yourself off mute if you want. We have like a couple minutes here. If you have to go, I totally understand.
Hey, Ben, it's Peggy calling from Designer Gold. And you mentioned that WordPress is secure. You may not have mentioned, or I didn't pick it up, whether Squarespace and Shopify are automatically secure?
Yeah, great question. So yes, those are automatically secure because they host themselves. So WordPress is similar to some other platforms like Joomla. You install that software on your computer. So then it's up to you to take care of the hosting, which requires the security certificate. If you use Shopify or Squarespace, that's all included on their platform. So yeah, they include that as part of what they do. Shopify, especially because they handle such huge amounts of e-commerce, is very good at having a secure platform.
Even if the domain, even if the address doesn't have an S, HTTPS?
If it does not have an HTTPS, you do not have a security certificate. But if you create a new website through Shopify and Squarespace today, I'm like 99% sure it comes with the HTTPS.
Okay, I'll contact them because we have Squarespace for our website and we do not have that on our address. So I'll just contact Squarespace.
Yeah, and it might be one of those things that maybe you have to select to do and pay a little extra, you know?
Yep.
But I know that they both offer it. I'm just not 100% sure whether you have to select it extra or not. But yeah, you can get it easily if you're on Squarespace already.
Great.
Yeah, someone just mentioned it shows the little lock symbol as well. That's right. Up in the browser bar, you'll see the little lock that says, this site is secure. And people actually look for that now. I know I do. Like, of course, it's my background, but I never put my credit card in any URL without the HTTPS. Anyone else have questions? Or I should probably just turn off this annoying slide here.
Ben, this is Tracy. First off, this was super informative. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to let everybody know that Ben is back next week, same time, Thursday morning, to do a part 2 workshop. And you're going to focus more on digital marketing and customer personas as well. Yes.
Yeah, we'll try to look a little bit more at targeting your core audiences. Maybe talk a little bit about, advertising. I can't remember. I don't have the flyer up in front of me, Tracy, but, there's a bunch of, you can get so far down into this stuff. I don't want to go too far over people's heads, but I do want you all to understand the options that are available and how best they can fit your business. So, feel free to reach out before that talk and let me know if there's something that, you'd like me to touch on, and I'm happy to do that as well. Someone asked a question about reviews. Google reviews 100% are where you should focus your time and effort. Facebook is great as well, but Google reviews are what pop up when people search your business and that Google My Business profile. And that's where people will be like, is this a good company or not? As well as, if you're not paying attention, you could have a negative review in there you don't agree with, and it gives you the ability to reply and explain your position. I also tell people, do not get into it with people on Google reviews or Facebook reviews or anywhere where that will live forever. If you watch the news in any way, you see people getting in trouble with old social media posts. So if you get into a negative situation, a dispute, say, just leave it as, please email us at, we'd love to talk more about this. Please call us. Here's our number, whatever. Once you put something in writing on the internet, even if you delete it later, it's there forever. So don't get stuck having something used against you later on. But that being said, in Google reviews, if someone has a negative review, you're more than, or you should reach out and just say, oh, I'm sorry about your experience. I'd like to talk to you more. And yes, Google reviews are huge.
We're doing pretty well there.
I know we're over, so I don't want to keep anyone. If you have to go, totally understand, but I'm available if you want to ask a couple more questions at all. No more?
No.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Maybe you could put your email in the chat as well, Ben, so that
yes,
people have
good
it.
idea.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you, Ben. That was very helpful.
That's my email. And yeah, next week we'll go over a bunch more things. Thanks for attending, and feel free to reach out with any questions you may have. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.